Welcome to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast, hosted by Mhkeeba
and Brittany, two former NFL cheerleaders discussing hot topics in the pro cheerleading industry
and revealing the truth behind the palms. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the season finale, season 4 of the Pro Cheerleading Podcast. This is your girl, Mhkeeba. No, I'm just kidding. We never do that. You know that? We never introduce ourselves.
No.
This is Mhkeeba.
And this is Brittany. Sassy
yet classy. Thank you guys for joining us.
We are live right now on Instagram.
Goodness.
But we have some really cool lighting that you can't see, and you'll see it in the YouTube video. So,
oh, that's right. You can't see.
Yeah, you can't see it on the Instagram one, but our YouTube lighting is really cool.
And shout out to the people who have followed us on YouTube. I encourage everybody to, cheers. Cheers to our season finale, you guys. But go follow us on YouTube or subscribe. What's the word? That's the right word, right? Mm-hmm. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a channel, and we put our live little recording up there on our YouTube channel because Instagram plays games with our emotions, and it doesn't always save it to our stories. So every cheer chat, not every single one, but most of the cheer chats from this season 4 are up there.
And some other little goodies, like from Oakland. We just came back from the game.
I didn't put them up yet. But yes.
But hit that notification bell, subscribe, hit the bell so that you'll know when we load.
Because we are going to load tonight along with this video. So I'm kind of like, maybe that's why I'm being weird. It's really hitting that it's the last one.
Well, not forever.
I'm sad. But it's been, a really fun season. And so we're just having a little cocktail to toast all of our wonderful and amazing guests, you guys. It really, we just counted them out, and we had quite a few people, and people that we love and respect in our space, and so we'd like to give a shout out to everybody who joined us this season. Ready? Go. No, I'm just kidding.
We did start, should I jump around the list?
No, because then we'll forget someone.
Fine. Well, one of the people we interviewed really early on was Derek Whitfield.
Yes.
So he's the director of the Washington Wizards, whole dancing program, Wisdom, all that good stuff. The junior program, the dancers.
It's been amazing watching their performances. I almost had to kill Full the F Out Friday because it's I keep wanting to pick the Wizards, and it's maybe, need to not seem so biased. But they're doing an amazing job, and it was so cool to talk to him. So thank you, Derek, for your time and your energy. It was infectious, and seeing you and Michelle hang out together made me jealous. I think it's time to take another trip to DC so we can all hang out.
Yes.
I'm addicted to hanging out with all the listeners, all the people that participate in the show. JC Scott was another fun one. Former Rockettes dancer, former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, sweet as pie, just a beautiful soul, and I really loved her interview. She was very inspirational, her starting her own foundation and just doing things to touch people's lives and change people's lives for the better, raising awareness for pancreatic cancer. So, loved her interview.
That was a fun one. And then we did Laurel Cancela.
Yes,
we think that's how you say the name. But cheers to Laurel. She does all of our custom uniforms for the Seattle Seahawks dancers and formerly the Seagals.
Yes, correct.
So she was adding gemstones one at a time, Swarovski crystals.
Yeah. I hate that word. It's so hard. Swarovski. How do you say it?
It's like Worcestershire sauce. Swarovski.
But it was amazing hearing her story, too, and just how she got it all done. I mean, that was our Change Clothes episode. Mm-hmm. And then, I know, it's almost like going back and forth of who we were really super pumped about for different reasons. But
true.
Deetta Hazley was our HBCU dancer from Howard University, and she's involved with the Bengals. She's a former Bengals cheerleader and is involved in the coaching staff now, and that just set me off. I was just so happy. And I already told you, but I'm just going to tell you guys, my mom really, this might be her Christmas present, but she wants to go to the Battle of the Bands that they have in Atlanta in January to see all of the HBCU bands perform, and literally drumline and with their dancers and the whole 9 yards. And if you guys think I'm extra, my mom is.
We need to interview her, I think.
Oh, my Lord
Let's get her on the show. That's what my vote is.
It will need to involve a performance where she can kick her leg up to her head. She's just a feisty little soul, and I have a feeling if I take her down there, she will somehow end up on the field. It becomes the barber show. So.
I want to go.
Oh my gosh. Can I send you and my mom?
Yeah. That would be so fun. Oh my gosh.
It's a conflict because it's around Pro Bowl weekend, so we got to figure it out. But anyway, the point is, HBCU dancers are the shit. I just love them, and I kind of would love to see the Honda Battle of the Bands.
Totally.
My mom will make it even spicier. Lord help me, Jesus.
Speaking of somebody who always kills it, then we interviewed Michelle Vaughn, which was amazing.
Yes. Her choreography is everywhere. Pop, lock. Yeah, there's just so many songs that come to mind. But yeah, she was great to interview and had a lot of interesting perspective on the industry and the business. And then we got to interview our first live current cheerleader.
You need to drink up. Sorry.
Okay.
Drink.
Yes, drink. I'm talking too much. Candace from the Redskins was our first current cheerleader, and we just realized how special that is because we wanted to talk to so many different people this season, and it's tough. I don't think we got clearances, and so maybe because we drank and cursed, I don't know.
Probably.
But Candace, thank you so much for just helping us understand the magic of the Redskins cheerleaders. Sitting as the calendar, it was just a great opportunity for us to be able to connect with you and share you with so many others who completely look up to you. Like, you are the queen, and happy belated birthday, even though I already told you happy birthday, but still. It's Scorpio month forever. No, I'm kidding. Who was next? God, there was still more.
Then we interviewed Kristen Ann Ware. That was a two-parter, and it was kind of focused around, the lawsuit that she was involved with, as well as like mental and emotional health. So that one was pretty heavy, but it needed to be put out there for sure.
Agreed. And there's, a growing, I won't even call it movement because their lawsuits have passed, but, there's a group of people that are kind of like trailblazers of making our pro cheerleading industry better based on their lawsuits. And, we'll have to see if we can, reach out to them and also hear their stories. I just think it's a matter of respect for our industry and things that we've all benefited from, whether it's higher pay or some rules going away that didn't need to be there, to just a heightened awareness of how we're treated. I think we kind of owe it to these ladies. So, Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time with us to talk and, just enlightening us. I mean, everybody has a story to tell, and so we appreciate you sharing yours with us. And then Adrienne Santalari was our last interview. That was my girl from Philly. It was a great chat, and I still want to know what people think and what their reaction was just to certain points. Maybe I'm just pumping it up, but I just think it was really like a breath of fresh air of like, you know what? Life goes on. I mean, I think when we think, for the past year, you guys, there's been so much in our space, and I know I was hot and bothered. If I listened back to some of those episodes, I might be like, damn, take a chill pill. It was like, it's not life or death. Like, I had like a hit list a little bit of execs that I wanted to go after on Twitter and stuff. But, it's just something that I think we all adjusted. We're all still adjusting, and I think people are finding new opportunities, and just hearing about Adrienne having such a long career in the NBA, I mean, you keep it pushing. And, what I mean? No, I'm kidding.
Well, we have a whole year behind us in terms of episodes, and so I'm really excited for 2020. That's crazy to say, but
I know.
We might pop in before then, but if not, Happy New Year.
You'll hear from us on social media, but yes, this will be a break for the holidays. Thanksgiving's next week. Obviously, steal yourself a piece of turkey leg and eat some dessert. Everybody who's on a team, just treat yourself that day. Enjoy your families, obviously. And yeah, I think we'll give some time and space for the holidays, regroup and everything. And 2020 is right around the corner. It's crazy.
Craziness. What else did we do that was crazy?
Okay, it's time to talk Oakland. Time to talk Oakland. Shout out to the Raiderettes. You guys were so fun to watch on Sunday. We should just talk them through our trip.
It was a really short trip, unfortunately. We've been before. We went to a preseason game a few years back, and that was a blast. But I had no idea how crazy Raider Nation was regular season. Like, my mind was blown. So we got in Saturday night. We kind of went out and did our thing, right? So the next day, that's why some of the photos we look crazy.
Stuff.
Am I? What did I skip?
Our dinner with...
Well, of course.
Yeah, our dinner with Danielle and Savannah.
That's true.
Let's just say that was just such a sweet time to really connect with them and learn about each other. And they were just so sweet to pick us up from the airport, Danielle and Savannah coming out. And I just really cherish those times because we don't get to like interact with people one-on-one as much. We can't even see who's freaking joining on Instagram right now, but
totally.
But it was really sweet of her to take time, just hearing about the Raiderettes program, how hard they work, how they practice, what time they have to get to the stadium was mind-blowing.
That was crazy.
But it showed in the performance. You guys really rocked it, and it was so fun to watch. So,
I know. How could I have skimmed over that?
I don't know.
I'm so sorry. That was like the best part of the trip.
No, it really was. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I'm still recovering, so maybe I shouldn't be taking more sips.
But we did have dinner our first night. Then Brittany and I decided to go out for a little libation, if you will, and we ended up at, where did we go?
Hello, Stranger.
Yes. O Lounge and then Hello Stranger. Okay, can I just tell you my highlight was the soul food buffet that was outside of Hello Stranger. Changed my life. I mean, when I tell you, in Seattle, when you leave the club or whatever, we have hot dog stands everywhere. And, you know, yay. But soul food kitchen, like a whole, like fried chicken, yams, mac and cheese, greens, even though they were turnip greens and I'm not a fan. But, and then they had like shrimp Alfredo and stuff.
Yeah, my mouth's watering. It was delicious. Best.
It was just like a angel started singing, and like, you know, to come out of a place and you're like, you know, you're hungry, but it's late night. I was all messed up from that. I was so happy.
Me too. It was the best. Remember we had some guy coming over to us, trying to bum some of our food?
Yes.
And we did not give him any.
We did not play a game.
Yeah, we were waiting for our lift and
we chowed down.
Shoo. We're eating.
Don't talk
it was
to me.
so good.
It was
awesome.
Gosh. Sorry, that was a highlight. And then now we can begin with the actual game day experience, which was really cool.
It was super cool. So we stayed pretty close, so we just kind of walked over
got
there.
Our Raiders gear.
Yeah, got our Raiders gear.
Yes.
Went to Raiders Image, right? Got some gear, and then we tailgated, and it was so fun. Like, I wish we could do that in Seattle, but unfortunately we're just not set up for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like on Occidental, like this street that's on its way to the stadium where people set up. And maybe nothing just has this vibe. I don't know. Maybe other teams have it, but I've never seen anything like it. And so we're walking around through the tailgating area, and we must have looked like tailgating virgins because a guy ended up approaching me. I was like, this is your first time, isn't it? And it really, compared to the preseason, it absolutely was our first time because it was night and day different. So crowded. Elaborate tailgating stations or whatever you want to call it, tailgating stops. What do we call this? I don't know. There was like a huge Darth Vader like display. The one that we ended up at had like the DJ booth and like another soul food buffet. I mean, how did we not end up making a plate there?
Because we had just eaten, and then another tailgate gave us carnitas
that were a little dry, but thank you so much. He was from Portland. It was awesome. Everybody was so freaking friendly. Like, people want to talk about Raiders fans, but I just thought they were so inviting. People were from all over, like New York, Canada, Europe. It was crazy and just awesome. It was a great vibe. And then you go in the stadium and it's like,
people nonstop yell Raiders the whole time.
The entire time in the concourse. So
they're waiting for a beer and they're yelling Raiders, like
loud. There's no time out. You know what I mean? Like, but I was surprised that they weren't doing that watching the game. Like, they're focused hella on the game. But like when they're in the concourse, it is Raider Nation screaming Raiders. Like, I just thought it was. My daddy was very proud. He's a diehard Raiders fan, and he was so giddy for Brittany and I to go to this game. And then talking to him about what it was like, I could hear him smiling through the phone. Like, he was like, it's not like anything else, not like any other fan base. I'm
so
like,
true.
You are right, Daddy. You're right.
I hope that, like, Las Vegas can have that same energy.
I hope
so. Because when teams move, it makes it really hard for fans. But there were some diehard fans there that were still going to make the move as well.
That's true.
You know, travel out for every game and paying the spiked, like, season tickets.
The price. Yeah, people were paying
$1,000
for season tickets and now having to pay $10,000. So my daddy's thrilled, but I do see that being a bit of a challenge. And it's Vegas. You can't, like, tailgate in freaking Lord knows how hot weather. Like, it's not happening. So I consider that part of the Raiders game day experience. So I don't know how you
are going to replicate
I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, obviously it'll be a nicer stadium, so welcomed, I guess. But watching the girls, I mean, so that's the Raiders game day thing. But we, of course, get pumped for the girls. We had to sweet talk some ushers to let us go down and get our little recording on. But it was just so cool to watch the ladies perform and shine. Like, they looked good, they danced well, they were sassy. Okay, I'm all for their, like, walk.
On and off.
On and off. Okay, like, it's, like, not just, like we would run and, like, rally with, is it this hand or the other hand? I don't know. We would run on and, like, kick your seat, and it's really cute and kind of spastic. And you do the same thing off. But if we got to just...
But I love that they sauntered on, basically, and, like, they timed it perfectly to where they weren't, like, setting up and looking at each other. It was, like, they walk, and then the music starts, and, like, it's part of them walking out. And they're just, like, hitting the first move.
From the very beginning.
They killed it. I was, like, I couldn't stop watching them.
Yeah.
Like...
I love it. I kind of want to do it. Like, you know how you just dance around at home and stuff?
Right. Well, they would, like, move their hands with their palms.
With their hips.
And accentuate the, like...
action.
Yeah. And Danielle, she's a rookie, but you would never have guessed. Like,
no.
she killed it out there, and it was, like,
I
so
loved
amazing.
Watching. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was so cool to see her in her element.
Yeah, and just all the different personalities. I mean, I think they just danced really well together, and I would love to watch them again. I want the pom-poms to I just want to do that.
We'll get you some.
Okay.
Even though we have a few pairs at home.
It's not the
We'll
same.
practice.
But no, congrats to all the ladies. You guys, I hope, make it to the playoffs and beyond. Like, you looked really, really good out there. And to know that didn't you guys go abroad too? Just representing for the NFL. I think
They were in London.
Mm-hmm. You guys look great. And they were just in Mexico, not they, but, like, you know, the games in Mexico and stuff.
Right.
And just... You guys are representing, like, what NFL cheerleading is all about around the world, and, you know, you should be proud.
Absolutely.
I was proud of you guys. I know. We're such... Okay, should we tell them, like, how we, like... Well, we went down...
What did we do?
As soon as we got to my friend's seats, because she was down there as well. Shout out to Kim. But we went to her section, because she had better seats. Not better seats, but closer seats, I should say.
Yeah, she was closer.
And so we were like, oh, we'll get some footage of whoever's there. So we, like, rushed down to the front row. And we're just, like, such cheese balls. But, you know, we're, like, waving. And I don't know. Obviously, we could wave at people, but it's a little unprofessional, I guess, to be like, hi, or whatever. But it was just really sweet to just see them up close and personal. I'm a groupie.
No, you guys they were amazing. And I could actually, like, a few of them made eye contact. I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm making this up, but like, while we were waving, it was kind of like, hi, oh my gosh, you know, but absolutely, like, there was a million eyes and, you know, cameras on them. They couldn't just, like, but I would totally do that when I was on Seagulls.
Oh my gosh, I would. I'm surprised I made it 5 years, but but it was just great to see you guys. We were so excited, and we're just like cheerleaders for all of the cheerleaders everywhere. And like, if we could travel like that to see everybody perform, like, I would be the happiest person. Like, we were talking about that. Like, what if we're just old and gray and still trying to make it a point to see every pro cheerleading team?
We're gonna do it, I think.
I'd commit to that. Free tickets help, ladies. No, I'm kidding. Ladies and gents. No, I'm kidding.
But Danielle definitely hooked us up, and that's why we were motivated to go. I mean,
it takes one of the expenses out of it.
Getting there was the main focus, and then she provided the tickets, which was so amazing. So
thank you, Danielle.
Not all teams provide that to their cheerleaders.
That's true.
If you kind of want some exclusive video of yourself, I don't know,
like how your parents would do,
right?
Sorry, we didn't. You're better at videoing. I tend to scream for people. And
well, I'm sure you guys noticed on my recent posts, it's like all over the place. But I tried to focus.
You got good footage.
I'm using my phone, so maybe we'll upgrade to some like legit camera in the future.
Patreon. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. We can try to, between trying to go to more games in the future, equipment, whatever. I mean, you guys get the gist. I mean, it's just something about like knowing people are there for you, that are rooting for you, that I remember that feeling like when I was out there. It's just it makes you feel good. You know?
It made me nervous, but
it made you nervous?
It would make me nervous. I'm like sweating thinking about it.
To know people were...
Yeah, like if it wasn't just like my parents, or like if it was somebody new, or...
You would get nervous.
I would get nervous, because you want to do a good job, because
someone's watching.
You're performing for them, kind of.
That's true. I'm trying to think if I invited guys like that. I don't think so. Nobody that would make me nervous.
Nobody makes you nervous, Mhkeeba. You run the show, okay?
I do
That's
not.
obvious.
No, but super excited to do some more of that in the future. I can't even tell you how happy it makes us to see you guys shine and doing your thing. And that's what this, platform is about, is like lifting everybody up in their best light and just showing, how great and amazing we are. Like, we are dope, and you guys were dope. And whoever's out there that's performing NBA, you guys got a whole long season ahead. I mean, maybe we will get to travel again and go check out some more teams not necessarily during the off season that we're not on air, so to speak, with the podcast out, but we look forward to more trips. We love to travel, both Brittany and I, so
yeah.
Yay.
That's that.
So, this episode, you guys, is called Motivation, because we got to talk to GeNienne Samuels, who is a former Redskins cheerleader, former Wizards girl, owner of Sideline Prep. Like, the stats go on and on and on.
In-game
She's an
host.
in-game host for the Redskins. She's just everywhere. She's like Queen of DC, like literally. She's amazing. And we talked to her a while back. We've kind of been like sitting on the wonderful news that we decided to partner with her, with Sideline Prep, in the sense that people who sign up for her program, I think it's just, you're going to hear all about it in this episode. But basically, we believe in what she's doing. I think she's like the greatest motivational speaker for people in this space. Follow her on Instagram, Sideline Prep. She's just a breath of fresh air and an energy shot, basically, of like why you're doing this. Like, if you ever question why you're out there, why you're working so hard, especially for people who are trying to make teams, like, this is the person that you would totally want in your corner. Totally.
Yeah, I felt like when we were talking to her, I could do anything, and I was like, I haven't done enough in my life. Like, she's done the whole gamut, like from A to Z, she's done it. And another great example of someone who maybe like had an idea of their path and veered off just because they went by their gut and what they realized was right for them. Yeah. And she ended up exactly where she wanted. So I think everything happens for a reason. But you just got to stay motivated and definitely fight through any negativity or doubts. And she's the person to listen to. For sure. And just to think about this past year and everything that you guys may have been through with some of the changes that have happened, whether your dance opportunities may have disappeared or things didn't work out the way you wanted to with auditions. Like, if you're listening, like, it's not over. I just had a birthday. Like, life goes on, like, the years pass, and there's definitely like that motivation just to shake off, the stuff that didn't go your way, and then go hard in the paint for what you really want. And I just think we decided that this should be the season finale because it just ends on such a good, strong note of this is what you can do with this space. And for people who have been on teams and maybe you're closing in on, a time where you might consider retirement, it's just like inspirational to think about what else you can do with your background. Like, if you always love talking to people and being in front of cameras and this and that and the other, like, in-game host, like, who would think? Like, I'm sure there's just so many opportunities for us, you guys, to leverage your background, your passions. If you love working with vets, like, there's just so much. Listen to this interview. I think you'll be inspired, and you'll hear more on the other side of, like, more of the program in terms of how we are partnering with her, and just so that you guys can have all the details you need to sign up and get the assistance that you would need from Sideline Prep. So we'll talk to you guys at the end. How are you?
Doing well. I was at a fundraiser event in DC for actually one of the cheerleaders. She's participating in the DC, Dancing with the Stars competition.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we had a fundraiser for her, and I was like, okay, I got to go, y'all.
Right.
So
we're done. We have the magazine right here.
I know, we're so excited.
We love it.
Yeah, it was such a surprise. One, that they did the magazine. So that was obviously different for this year, but then also that they, featured some junior cheerleaders and then the alumni cheerleaders. And they're like, oh, and by the way, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw your page in there.
Right, I'm trying to find it.
Amazing.
So cool.
Yeah.
We are so excited to talk all about your background. And thank you so much, GeNienne, for spending time with us. I forget what time it is there. 9:30.
Late.
a full day.
Oh, man.
You look stunning. We just are so excited to meet you in person. And we saw you in DC, actually, when we were at the Redskins final audition, being the MC, hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, you're a pro, man. I was like,
know.
wow, she doesn't stutter. Nothing, looks gorgeous. Like, you killed it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's really, in all honesty, I feel like it's my zone of genius. I just love running my mouth and being in front of a crowd and entertaining and engaging fans and engaging people in any capacity. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm just honored that, the Redskins cheerleaders asked me to come back every single year for their auditions, for their now magazine release party, and now have the honor of being the in-game host for the Washington Redskins. So that's kind of like, yes, brand spanking new. I'm only a couple of games in.
Well, how's that going?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was so surreal, like the first preseason game, just being back on the field, being back in the cheerleaders' locker room, being there with all of those fans, the burgundy and gold, just in that environment. And, I had been back for games. So like I was used to going to games, but being a part of the game day experience again was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Even though our team isn't doing that great,
they're always doing amazing. You guys
exactly.
On the news program, kind of like when they were talking about how the team sucked, and you posted about it, like the cheerleaders are always doing their part. Like they are always giving it 120%. Like I love that clip. I loved it because it's like, yes, we are out there, whether they're winning or losing, and we exude such support and strength and endurance and joy for what we're doing. It's often very much overlooked, in the moments where the team isn't playing so well, but good shout out. And the in-game correspondent did well too. I was like, yes.
Well, and what was so funny about that was that the other anchor, so we had the sports anchor and then we had the other anchor that was with me, she didn't get the joke because she didn't even realize that I was the in-game host. So it was just hilarious because I was like, and that in-game host, she was amazing. And she started laughing and she was like, who's the in-game host? Like after we went off air. And I was like, me, Patty, me. And she was like, oh. But literally after that game, and just seeing the first ladies of football seriously, 110% the entire game. And that is what I'm used to. That was the expectation when I was on the team. But it's harder when your team is not winning. It just is. It's just, you all know it's more difficult. But seeing them constantly give 110%, going full out with everything, their facials, their moves, their excitement for the fans, trying to get the fans engaged and excited still, even though the scoreboard wasn't reflecting a winning situation. It just reminded me of just in life in general, especially at games, you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to pull for yourself because a lot of times that's the only person you have pulling for you. And cheerleaders and dancers, they exemplify that mindset and that philosophy all the time.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important. I think, people, see me and they think I'm automatically cheery and like, oh yeah, it makes sense that you're a cheerleader. But that's really kind of like true to my personality, optimistic and trying to be positive as possible. I just think it's just part of the character that you build from having the opportunity to do what we do. And, it is something that carries over into everything that you touch in life, like lifting people up, bringing someone to a smile when they probably would not be wanting to. Right. That's a very inspirational aspect of our role that I don't think we really even take time to appreciate because it's a big part.
It is. But like the whole saying, fake it till you make it, like that's what we have to do because it is our job, our responsibility, our role to be ambassadors for the community, to be the cheerleaders at the games, to be there for the fans and to interact and engage. And you might be having a hard day. Maybe things didn't go right for you at work. Maybe you're a mom and you're just struggling, like whatever the situation is. Once you put that uniform on and you're representing that team, it's game on. Yeah. And you literally have to fake it till you make it. But the wonderful thing about that is it works. Like that whole saying works. Like when you say to yourself, okay, I'm happy, I'm all good, I'm empowered, I can do this, I am the best, whatever it is that you need to tell yourself, you eventually start to feel that way. Yep. Especially when you're around your sisters and your teammates and you're around your fans, then you leave feeling so much better than you did when you walked in. And that's one thing that I love so much about that community is like, no matter how your day was going, no matter what happened that day, no matter what you went through, once you walked into the doors of that practice facility or the stadium or the arena, it was all good. Yeah. It was all good.
And that's what I think I miss. Not to make this a counseling session. But no, I mean, I just think that it was always like that thing. I'm a mother, of course. I love my kids, and coming home to them is amazing. Hey, Quentin, Simone, that don't listen, but but it's just kind of like it was just that one thing for me that I knew no matter what would make me feel good inside in a way that kind of nothing else does. And so it's just like this podcast, thankfully, is starting to be like that. Well, not starting to be, it really was from the gate. So I get to be with this one all day, but just to have that thing that can take your mind off of everything and put you in a positive space and be around people that you love and respect. And so it's hard when you're not part of a team anymore, because that's one of the best parts about doing it.
Right.
Yeah. But like, what happens?
Oh, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is your team ends up becoming, your former teammates. So like you two, you know what I mean? Right. My closest friends are former Redskins cheerleaders and former Wizards dancers. One of my godsons, his mom, I cheered with on Redskins. I was her captain. Do you know what I mean? They become your new team. So even though you're not at practice with them anymore and you're not dancing on the field anymore, you still have that support system, because it's something about that sisterhood and us always being together and going through those ups and downs of any given season. It creates this bond and this amazingness. And that's one reason that Sideline Prep was birthed in the first place, is just because I want other people to experience what I experienced. Because regardless of any negativity that might be out there, it was the most amazing 11 years of my life. And I can say that because I don't have kids. And I don't feel like I'm slighting anything. But I love my nieces. I love my nephews. I love my godchildren. But from a personal experience, those were the best years of my life so far. I can't wait to see what life has in store for me in the future. But it's definitely, times and experiences that I will always remember, that I will always cherish, and that I will always have that sisterhood there in support of me no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And I was just going to say, I feel like you should be a motivational speaker and like have a mid-season current like cheerleader, like motivation pep up class or something.
Oh yeah. Cause there hits a point during the season where you're kind of like probably questioning things
right before tough. Christmas. You're like, what did I do this for?
It's actually right around Thanksgiving when you realize that you're not going to eat like you normally would want to eat. There's a point in the season, I think, where things get a little tense and, maybe you feel pretty stretched thin, but like you said, it would be like the pep talk that would just get you
through the end.
Yes, for sure. No, we're so excited to talk.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise.
Let's rewind from the beginning. Like, what's your dance background? Like, how did you start?
Wow. So great question. I started as a straight up 110% tomboy.
Oh my gosh. We need photos and evidence and proof of that.
Yeah.
I will give them to you. I don't know, actually. I don't know if I want those out in the public. So my father had 3 girls, hoping for at least one boy, got none. And we just grew up in a very athletic household. My father's track and field coach. My mother played softball. And so I grew up as a track and field runner. So I literally, I feel like, ran my whole life away. I did cross country. I did indoor track. I did outdoor track. And that was just what we did.
What was your race?
Oh gosh. So I did middle distance.
Okay.
So I did the 800 and the 4x8 and the 4x4. And then in indoor, I did the 1,000, the 4x4 and the 4x8. So mainly middle distance. I was really good. Always would make it to regionals, but could never make it to state. I don't know why. I just couldn't get to state. But interesting enough, my sophomore year in high school, a friend asked if I would go with her to cheerleading tryouts. It was during indoor season. So I had to skip track practice. I went with her, tried out. I made cheerleading. Unfortunately, she didn't.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Classic.
I know. It was so horrible. So horrible. But that's kind of how I was introduced to cheerleading. And because I was a track and field runner, I had such powerful legs. So I could jump higher than people's heads. And, it was like, that was my thing, jumps and kicks. So that's how I kind of found the love for it from a different aspect as far as sports, because you still have to be very athletic with the stunning and jumps and everything else. So I ended up cheering for 2 years in high school. I didn't make it my junior year, thought the world was getting ready to end, but I still ran track. So literally just, I don't know, I felt like I was always at a school sport or an event, because even when I cheered, I was still running track year round. So when I left high school, I went into the University of Richmond and made their co-ed stunt squad. So I cheered for 4 years at the University of Richmond. We were the small co-ed champions at Disney World and everything my senior year. Yes, so cool. It was my first competition ever. So that was absolutely amazing. Graduated from University of Richmond, came up to Northern Virginia, started the real world, had a job and everything. Really missed it. So I was part of a co-ed, like open squad. So I was traveling back and forth to Richmond every single weekend to participate with that and compete and all of that. Randomly, a friend of mine that I went to the University of Richmond with got drafted to the Redskins. So my mom and I went to one of his first games, and we were in the nosebleed section. We were like way up high because he was a rookie. He didn't have any clout, didn't have really good seats at that time. But the entire time I just looked at the cheerleaders and I was like, Mom, that's what I want to do. And that's what I did. I ended up auditioning for, the Redskins that year and ended up making it with no technical dance background, only, powerful legs, strong motions from being a cheerleader over the couple of years. But I didn't even know what a pirouette was, much less how to actually execute one. But it all worked out for me. So
what were auditions like? Because we've seen what they're like recently, like crazy production, takes 2 weeks to prepare. Like, what were final auditions like when you auditioned?
So then it was just over a weekend. So you basically went in on Friday. At that time, Donald Wells was in charge of the program. You went, I was a Redskinette for one season before it switched over to Redskins cheerleader. Yeah, so kind of cool that I was able to be a Redskinette for that 1 year. But the first week, the Friday was just like intro speech. You came in, you introduced yourself in front of the judges, and that was pretty much it for Friday evening. Saturday you came, and that was like the really, really long day. So you had to do tons and tons of kicks. You learned, I think, maybe 1 or 2 routines that you performed over and over again. I don't even remember. I think that there were cuts on Saturday. And then they picked the finalist group. And then literally the very next day, you had to go to FedEx Field and perform in smaller groups, your 2 routines. And by the end of the day, they announced the team. So it was all done. Yeah, I was blessed.
Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
I know.
Just get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid off. What is it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I just remember not being able to walk for like that next week because the kicks, like, oh my gosh, I had never kicked so many times in all of my life. And I just remember that entire experience because right then, like I have sisters, so I know what that type of bond is just from, having blood sisters. But what was so amazing was that Saturday, I didn't know anyone, but that Saturday, a young lady came over to me that was on the team and asked me if I wanted to come over that evening and practice with them.
Aww.
And that meant the absolute world to me because I was a hot mess, y'all, like hot mess. Like from not having a dance background, I just didn't pick up choreography fast. It was just very overwhelming. I felt like I was in way over my head. And if it weren't for her coming over and inviting me, I don't even know if I would have showed up on Sunday. So that's, really what Sideline Prep for me is about. It's making sure that young women and even men now understand and know that you don't have to have years and years and years of technical dance background and training to go pro. Like a lot of these skills can be learned if you're willing to put in the time, the work, the dedication, and if you have the faith that you can do it and you put forth, extraordinary effort behind that faith, then anything is possible, especially if you have a coach and if you have a team of people working with you, behind you, and being your personal cheerleaders, you can make it happen. So that's really what it's all about, because I started, with absolutely no experience whatsoever. And then I ended up leaving, the pros with 11 years under my belt.
Wow.
And
That's
let's talk
crazy.
about your career, because here you are, Pro Bowl cheerleader while you were with the Redskins. I mean, can you talk about just your tenure while you were on that team?
Oh, most definitely. Wow, where do I even start?
Oh, because you're so like in the Hall of Fame of Redskins cheerleaders.
For sure.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, as most people start, you just start and you're a sponge and you just are in awe of the women that came before you and you just want to be like them. And I remember my captain at the time, Heather, she was just gorgeous. And I just was like, I want to be like Heather when I grow up. And so, your first couple of years, you're a sponge and you're just trying to learn and you're just trying to be a part of the community and a part of the team and not disappoint anyone. By year 3, 4, when I was a co-captain, I started to kind of feel into my role, and I positioned myself more as a leader, just naturally, I think, from my business background. And I was like the person in charge of taking orders for luggage and, all of this stuff, because I was like really organized. And then, just kind of stepping into that leadership role and eventually becoming a captain. And then, like you said, Pro Bowl. And, at that point, almost every year at the end of year banquets, I was getting awards, a choreography award, outstanding leadership award, director's choice award. When I, retired, I got the lifetime achievement award. So, all of the time, energy, and dedication that you put into something, it's really not about the awards, but it is nice to, just feel appreciated at the end of everything. But I would say for me, other than like that first time walking out on the field as a rookie, which was by far the most amazing experience ever, second to none for sure is just the opportunity to go overseas and support our military. So the Redskins organization is a huge support of the military, like many other, teams are. But we're out there, and I would volunteer for as many performance tours as I possibly could. Kosovo, Afghanistan, Bosnia, like just some of the most amazing places, just being able to take a little bit of America to them and recognize and tell them that we appreciate them for their sacrifice and for everything that they've done for us. And I remember like it was yesterday, we performed right here at home at Walter Reed Hospital. And it's like an audience of wounded soldiers, men and women. And we went through our entire show for them. And at the end, we always ended with, God bless the USA. And I was signing the song. And at the very end, they stood up for us. And there was one gentleman over to my left that only had one leg. And he stood up like to recognize us. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, no, we're standing in honor of you and for your sacrifice and what you've done for us. And I think sometimes we just forget like how it's a huge sacrifice. We go over there and we have to live in tents and in cots for 2 weeks. We know that we get to go back home. They are there for months on end, for years on end, dedicating and sacrificing their all for us. And so I think for me personally, just having that opportunity as a first lady of football to be able to go on those tours and just sit and eat with them and perform for them and shake their hands and sign autographs. They're just so appreciative of it, but I don't think that they really realize how much we appreciate them. So that's probably the biggest, like Pro Bowl was great. The games are great. Don't get me wrong, but the most meaningful experience for me, other than the friendships, was most definitely going overseas.
That's so amazing. I know I saw that you guys do like 60 plus. We would only do maybe like one, if that. I mean, we definitely have a lot of military bases near us, so we would go visit locally more so than do the overseas trips. But I was on the show group where we would do a tour, and I could definitely agree with everything you said. It's like they appreciate us, but they don't really understand how much we appreciate them. And they are so happy just to talk to anybody from home. So yeah, definitely like having lunch with them and performing for them. They're just the most gracious people ever. It's the best. So I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, one season I went on 3 tours. That's like how passionate I was about it and supporting. And I could at that time because I had accrued enough vacation. At that time, I wasn't, an entrepreneur and wasn't solely dependent on me. Like I actually had vacation days. People would actually pay me to go on vacation. So, I was able to do that at that time period in my life, and then just the experience of, being on these huge ships and aircraft. And we went to Quadriline, which you have to at that time, and even Cuba, where you couldn't even go to Cuba at that time. But Quadriline, you have to have permission from the military to even get on that island. You know what I mean? So we just experienced so many things that the average person would never be able to experience.
Totally. And you dropped a little nugget there. Did you say you signed God Bless America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yes. No, like, come on.
Seriously, I feel like the Redskins, like, no offense to anybody else, but you guys are so talented.
Crazy
Talented.
Crazy.
Like, one of your girls sang the national anthem last game.
Oh, and she killed it. She killed it. And I saw her tonight actually at the fundraiser that I was at, and she was so just humbled by the experience and just couldn't believe that the Redskins, because that was actually her second time performing this year. We're not even halfway through the season, but she knocked it out of the park the first time, and they asked her, again for the New England Patriots game. And so, but that's like, the women are just amazing, just in professions, in their attitudes, their dedication, their commitment, just community service, just everything. A lot of those ladies I worked with, I actually calculated it. 78% of the current team are Sideline Prep lovelies. So I have personal relationships, obviously, with a lot of them. But that first day, kind of going back into that locker room, my first preseason game, like, they literally treated me like I was one of them. Like, that's how much love was in that locker room and how much energy was in that locker room, because it's a sisterhood and we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. So I love them. Love them.
She's still scared of the fact that she knows sign language. Like, come on.
Okay, so don't get it twisted. I know sign language for that one song.
Okay, so that's talent.
That's still.
Yeah. No, they asked me if I could do it, and I was like, sure, I'll learn. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And it's something that I wish that I, could have learned, just like I wish I would have, learned Spanish and stuck with that, but I didn't. But that was kind of neat. The only disadvantage with that was sometimes after shows, someone would come up to me and start signing, and I had to admit that I just, like, I only know that song. I'm so sorry. So I hope no one felt like I was a fraud or anything. It was a really important song to know. So
exactly. I love it. That is so cool, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, can we talk about, just because you are such a fabulous entrepreneur, like what you studied when you were in college, what job you were balancing while you were on the Redskins, and that can kind of like parlay into Sideline Prep and you becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, of course. So let's see. At the University of Richmond, I got a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing and a minor in women's studies. So graduated with honors. I'm complete and total nerd, guys. Like, I just love studying. I love my books. Very into, always making sure I was honor society, that type of thing. From there,
I don't know. We want more friends.
Like, yay! High five! High five for the nerds!
High five!
So what was amazing about being a nerd was that by December of my senior year, I already had a job offer with Bell Atlantic. So I could pretty much coast the rest of the year, which was really nice. So I left Richmond, moved up to Northern Virginia, and was part of an internal consulting group within Bell Atlantic. So we basically helped other divisions within the company with process improvement. And obviously there was a merger. It became Verizon. I was one of the youngest people to be promoted to a manager position, and ended up going into a quality department. And again, focusing more on some of those like Six Sigma, Baldrige, TL 9000, ISO 9000, like those frameworks that really help companies guide them to performance excellence. So that was kind of my wheelhouse when I was there. So stayed at Verizon.
I'm nodding. Yes, I'm like, Brittany's nodding.
I'm like, what are you guys talking about? A whole other language. Can you sign that for me?
TL.
Oh my gosh. I love it. That is so cool. Wow.
Yeah. So in my heart of hearts, though, I always wanted to go into TV and be an anchor for morning news. That's just like what I've always wanted to do. But when I graduated from college, the money in television couldn't compare to Bell Atlantic. So that's what I ended up pursuing. So after 10 years, I decided I'm not getting any younger. I'm going to pursue television. And so I volunteered for Release and Force and got declined. I was like, great. They were like, yeah, no, you're not going anywhere. You're staying. So I ended up having to stay for another year, ended up hearing that another Release and Force was coming. So I actually went to my boss's boss and just had a very honest and frank conversation with her, knowing that it could put me at jeopardy for my position that I currently had. But I explained to her why I wanted to volunteer for the Release and Force. So when I volunteered, I was accepted that time.
Can you explain what that is, Release and Force?
Yeah, so it's basically when a company calls for volunteers to be laid off. So they were just downsizing at the time, and they try to always get volunteers first before they force a leave.
Yeah. She's like, please fire me. They're like, no, I'm not firing you. You're too good. I wish I had that.
I know. And it was so crazy because I was so upset about it. I'm like, they wouldn't fire me.
Please fire me.
Please.
So you begged your boss to fire you, and what did they say?
The second try was yes.
Okay.
So then I ended up working at a TV station as an intern and just worked my butt off for 6 months, sent out my demo reel, got 2 offers to work as a reporter, almost peed my pants. And from fear, in all honesty, and also because my salary would have been cut by probably 75-80%, I ended up not taking the jobs. Wow. I look back on that and I'm like, what was I thinking? I should have done it. But it was fear. It was doubt. It was that uncertainty that I didn't think that I could really do it. I had only been in the industry for 6 months, and now you all are offering me a position as a reporter. So unfortunately, I didn't do it, So at that time, that's when the entrepreneur side kind of came out, and I ended up starting a consulting business and started focusing on process improvement, strategic planning, IB&V work for the government, for the state of Maryland. And around that time was when I, retired, right? We retired from the Redskins. And during that transitional year is when I thought I was done, but realized I wasn't. People started coming and asking for advice and help to make Redskins. And so with one of my former teammates, we started Sideline Prep. And so that's pretty much how Sideline Prep came about, because once I retired, people just, wanted help and they wanted advice and they needed assistance. And I realized that there was this void, that there's tons of cheerleading prep companies for younger kids, and there's tons of dance opportunities for young kids and even adults, but nothing geared around pro cheer. Mm-hmm. So that's really when Sideline Prep happened. And it's all a blessing, because by me sort of taking a step back and leaving Verizon, it opened up the possibility for me to get other jobs in TV. So I was for a while, 8 years, the Ryan Seacrest of the military. So I was the host of a military version of American Idol.
Wow.
Which was
so
yes,
cool.
It was the most amazing experience ever. So about a month and a half of every year, I would go to San Antonio and just live there. And we had the competition, and they brought the most talented men and women across all branches of the military there to compete in the singing competition. And I was, the host for that. Obviously, I ended up, deciding to audition for the Wizards and made the Wizard Girls. And during my tenure there, I auditioned to be the in-game host for the Mystics, the WNBA team. So I was doing that as I was also cheering for the Wizards. And funny story.
I got locker talk.
I cannot even handle. I just love hearing how you have moved, because it's like, number one, it's just so, don't lose your funny story, but I just want to say that it's just so exciting to hear. I always listen to our interviews and I'm just thinking what it would be like for the listeners to hear all this stuff, but it's just like, the sky is the limit. Like, to hear all that you did and just how your eyes were wide open for opportunities for the thing that you also love, which is, being a correspondent, and just kind of like making those connections and finding those opportunities. I'm just super, super impressed. And I don't know if you have any tidbits on like how you I mean, was it just like on the strength of being a dancer that you were able to just kind of position yourself for those opportunities, or how you went about it, but just that you were so open for it? I just think it's incredible, because I think people, you get in your bubble and you're like focus on one thing at a time, when you really can kind of like multitask it a little bit so that you have.
Well, I can't, but maybe you two can, because holy smokes, aren't you glad you turned down those 2 jobs? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Now that I look back on it, I most definitely am. I mean, and there's like, I guess they say, a jack of all trades, a master of none. Right. And so I've never lived my life focusing just on one thing, because I don't want to sound cocky and I don't want this to come across that way, but my brain works process improvement and helping companies and organizations and even people improve, right? My brain works that way. But then I have this passion and this zone of genius for communication and talking and just being in front of an audience and engaging. And so while I was doing this and this and this, there's always this nagging voice that's like, GeNienne, you should be in TV. GeNienne, like literally tapping me on the shoulder all the time. So as I'm doing all of these different things, I'm also looking for opportunities in television and saying yes. Like if someone asked me to host this or MC this, yes. So I think what it is really is always figuring out what your zone of genius is. And so if people aren't familiar with that term, there's this book, Success is Not an Accident, by Tommy Newberry, and The Big Leap. And it talks about this idea of figuring out and understanding and accepting your zone of genius. It's that area that just comes naturally to you, that when you do, you feel pumped afterwards and people give you compliments and you're like, wow, I didn't even really have to work at that, but thank you, because if you're focusing on your zone of genius, then it's never going to feel like you worked a day in your life. And so speaking is my zone of genius. So I was always trying to work on that craft in my spare time and in any type of free time that I did have. And I feel like that's one thing that, some of the ladies that I work with, they don't hone in and really grab that passion and really focus on that craft and work on that craft. Mm-hmm. Because if you have a passion for something and if you have a desire, that, the man upstairs put that desire in your heart for a reason. Don't ignore it. Don't try to brush it over. But then also you can't half ASS it either. Like right. You've got to go all in and put 110% in, because that's when you're going to see the rewards and you're going to reap the benefits. And it might take long, right? So it took me a while to get to where I am, but every single year I was still working toward that ultimate goal of TV. And so not only was I ended up being the in-game host for the Wizards, but now after that, the Brigade, the Baltimore Brigade for the AFL, I'm still doing that in the summers. And then now the Washington Redskins. So now I'm back home where it all started, which is crazy.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Well, what'd you say? Maybe this is mean. We could probably cut it, but I remember like crying in my car about not making the team or like thinking about auditions coming up. Like I wanted it so bad. Like I would do anything to make that team, because that's how I felt about cheering, is like that was my calling. Mm-hmm. I wasn't very good at it, but I just felt like I needed to do it. Right. So do you feel like maybe the people who don't have that just, goosebump giving calling to do something, maybe they're doing it for the wrong reasons, or maybe it's just not really what their calling is?
Potentially, or it could also be a story that they are telling themselves, so to protect themselves. So right. What I find with some of the people that we work with, they act as though they really don't want it, so that if it doesn't happen for them, they don't let themselves down.
I've done that too.
So,
yeah. That's a mindset I've had before, just because it's like, I didn't want to tell anybody I was auditioning, because we had to audition a few times before we made it. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like, if I don't make it, it's no big, even though you really want it. So that's true. It's hard to really see what's in people's hearts. Maybe they are putting up that front for sure.
Right. And it's basically you just trying to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. Right. But at the same time, you're hurting yourself. Right. So, what I always tell our ladies is, and I keep saying ladies, but understand that this applies to men as well, now that the industry is open to both. And we actually do have our official first man client. So we're calling him not a lovely, but a gent. He's on the Wizards dancer. So
awesome.
Yeah, super excited about that. But anyway, what I always tell the people that we work with is that, no does not mean never. It just means not right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put in 110%, and I, said this a little bit earlier, if you put in 110% in your preparation, and if you do all of the things that you need to do to prepare, then when you leave that audition, yes, you're going to be upset. No one likes rejection. That doesn't feel good to anyone. But if you keep in mind that no that you just got is getting you one step closer to your yes.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is people stop before they get to the yes.
Right.
They don't give themselves the opportunity to learn and grow from that no, to better themselves, come back even like up level, show the judges that you can improve so that you eventually do make that team. And so that's the biggest, I feel like, oh gosh, I don't even know how to describe it, but the thing that lets me down the most or makes me sad for people is that they don't have enough faith in themselves to understand that they are literally one or two steps from that yes. And then they just give up too soon. Right. And it's a lot of it is just lack of confidence, the stories that we tell ourselves, people not being there to support and help and, keep pushing you. And it's all, it's mindset. It is all mindset. And that's one thing with Sideline Prep, like literally it started out, I'm going to help you with dance. I'm going to help you with your interview skills. I'm going to help you with your look and how to put on makeup. We can do all those things, but if your mindset isn't right, and if you haven't created a healthy environment to support a positive mindset and positive growth and positive habits so that you own your morning, you own your day, and you feel good about yourself on the inside, all of that preparation isn't going to matter, because the judges are going to see through all of that if you walk in with low self-esteem, low confidence, and you're not showing them who you really are from the inside out. And so Sideline Prep is really, it was interesting because you mentioned, gosh, you should be a motivational speaker. That's literally what I am. I am everyone else's cheerleader especially in our coaching program, because that's what we need. We just need someone to be there to support us and to guide us and to help us and to just show us the way, because these things are not taught in school.
No,
it's just not taught in school.
Nope. We always end up going back to the audition mindset at any given point throughout the podcast because, we always know it's imminent. But I just think, it is challenging to surround yourself like year long as you're trying to prepare from like not failed audition, but an audition where you didn't make it to the next year. Surrounding yourself with people who understand that grind and that dedication to continue working at it. People question, why are you doing it? It's hard to surround yourself with an army of people who are really going to be like, you know what, I'm 100% behind you. I get why you're, so dedicated to fitness right now. I get what you're building toward, and really supporting that. And I think in a healthy way, it's great to have a support system like that through your program. I mean, you're giving like the biggest commercial I can ever imagine, but do you want to just give a description of the structure of your program, or just your own commercial, if you will?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. So obviously I'm very passionate about this. So the mission of Sideline Prep is to give aspiring professional cheerleaders the knowledge, the style, the glamour, and most importantly, the confidence to go into prep classes and auditions and land a spot on the team. And the foundation of what we do is really built around confidence and mindset, and really making sure that we create healthy individuals and enable women to be the best versions of themselves when they show up at those auditions. Mm-hmm. So there's a variety of ways that we do this. We obviously have one-on-one sessions. The wonderful thing about our program is that you don't have to be in the DC area to work with us. We have capabilities where you can be anywhere in the world and work with us. We have 3 young ladies right now that joined our coaching program, and they were in Japan, and they lived in Japan during the coaching program. And now they are professional cheerleaders, 2 for the NFL and 1 for the NBA. So no matter where you're located, we can assist and we can help. So we have online training, we have packages available. We have one-on-one sessions where you can work with our coaches on absolutely everything imaginable. So, dance style, dance technique, freestyle, crafting your intro speech, nailing your interview process, makeup. we have a coach that actually gives makeovers and tells you, okay, based on your skin tone and your undertones, your hair color, your eye color, this is the color outfit you should wear. This is what you should wear for your eyeshadow. Your hair needs to be dyed this color. Recommendations on your cut based on the shape of your face. So we have that. We also have, if you just want to learn how to put on makeup yourself, we have a coach that can help you with that.
All that I've learned.
I know, right? Can I just
I know.
One of our coaches is amazing, GeNienne, our nutrition and fitness coach. We just posted something recently. One young lady worked with her, has already 20 pounds off just from one conversation with GeNienne and one meal plan that we gave her. So Megs is our lead technique coach. She can literally teach you to do absolutely anything. The big thing with us is making sure that you have proper form and technique, because if you don't have, for example, proper form and technique for a single, you're never going to be able to get up to a triple. So we really focus on getting girls and men back to basics. Why are you laughing?
Like for a double and then
like,
you're a quadruple.
I remember seeing, okay, this is, I don't remember when Meg was on the team, but I remember her being one of my favorites, actually. I just don't remember exactly how I came across her, but maybe it was like Throwback Cheer or something where she was a teacher, and just, anyway, I feel like I'm such a Redskin in Redskins.
Undercover first lady of football.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm just going to steal somebody's pom-poms next time I come in there.
Yeah, no, Megs is amazing. She's, part of the junior program. She's a sideline assistant with the Redskins cheerleader. She's our, head technique coach. She loves it. It's her passion. And she loves to dance, but she loves even more to teach people. So she's just very giving in every way, every shape, every form. So she's amazing. Commercial for Megs. So we obviously have like the a la carte things that we can put together. And a lot of times people will just hop on a strategy call with me. They'll let me know what they're struggling with, and then I can recommend how we can help them and assist them the best way. By far, our most popular and I would say our most successful offering is our Pro Cheer Playbook Program. So that's only offered 2 times a year. It is a 4-month group coaching program. We have over a 74% success rate of our graduates making a pro or semi-pro team. I don't think that there's any other program that can say that.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Wow. So cool. Snap, you guys. I mean, if people are listening,
right?
Right? Some amazing odds in this space. We know how difficult it is to make a team. I mean, these are spots that are like not easy. Teams change every time, like how many people they're going to accept year to year. So, whoa, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very proud of that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like you mentioned earlier, it's a community of people doing the same thing, right? So all working toward the same goal, all supporting each other. We have accountability mechanisms built in. We have accountability coaches. You have an accountability partner. We have workshops at the beginning and the end of the program. Every other week, we're hopping on a Zoom call to kind of check in. We have ladies that I interview, former program participants that are now pro cheerleaders. I interview coaches, just to make sure that ladies have the opportunity to ask questions. Every single week, they're getting a new virtual training. We have challenges. Every single week, there's a new challenge, whether it's healthy, eating challenge, or making sure that you're drinking your water, or taking your vitamins, a turns challenge, like any and everything that you can absolutely think of.
I know we should. I want to do it, and I'm not nowhere close to auditioning for anybody's team. It sounds fun.
It is like each group has a certain amount of closeness, and they go to auditions together. So I remember in one group, one of our lovelies wanted to audition for the Colts, but no one was going. So literally someone from the East Coast that lives over here flew out there to be with her at the audition and audition with her. Like that's the type of environment, yes, that we create. No, so one of them made it to finals, and then the other one, I think she got cut like the 3rd or 4th round, but they just had a good time together. You know what I mean?
In the process that you, because Brittany and I mean, we see each other every year, but our friendship started after we both made the team. But like, I always wanted to be her friend, but if you had that one person that you,
hey girl, back at it again.
Same here. Yeah. But just to have that kind of support, it would be just such an uplifting part of a very, very stressful process, especially if you're traveling to another city to make a team. That says a lot about the sisterhood or friendship amongst everyone. Gosh.
Yeah, and we try to make sure too that, no matter what team you're auditioning for, that we connect you with either someone in our program that's already made that team or someone that I know or another coach knows, so that girls can talk to someone and ask them questions before they go into that actual audition and kind of get that inside scoop, that backhand knowledge that only someone that's been through it actually knows. And so that's really important, as well as, for our program, we want to make sure that you are as successful. We set you up for success. So if you have faith in yourself, like there's this book, absolutely love it. You all have to buy it. It's called The Miracle Equation. And he talks about if you have unwavering faith and belief that you can do something and you put extraordinary effort behind it, then it will happen for you. And so we help to build that faith in people because they don't always have that. And then we put the tools, the techniques, and the framework and all of the process steps that they need to make them successful, so that when they're putting in the action, the effort is already there because they know exactly what they need to do. Yeah. And so what we have found for the most part is that, the audition rounds might be different, but the fundamentals of who you need to show up as and who you need to be from the inside out is all pretty much the same for all of these auditions. And so it's not just the Redskins and the Wizards and the Ravens and the Baltimore Blast, these hometown teams that our lovelies make, but you've got the Raiderettes, the Bengals, the Chargers, Boston Celtics, the New England Patriots, Miami Heat. We have someone on the Heat. Seahawks. We have someone on Seahawks.
Yes.
Chicago Lover Bulls, the Cav Girls, which is now the powerhouse dance team. Yeah. So she transitioned from a Cav girl to the new dance team. The Eagles. We have someone now on the Orlando 407, the hip hop team. Tennessee Titans. So literally, it's not just, and that's one big misconception, is that we can only help. Yes. And like we can help anyone no matter what the team. And so I really feel like the most comprehensive offering that we have is that coaching program. And so we have a winter one that we do at the end of each year. And then we have a summer program that we do in the summer to kind of get ladies ready for NBA or get ahead of the NFL auditions.
Awesome. Yeah, that says a lot because, NBA and NFL are pretty different, but not so much that you can't take your program and make a team, whichever one you're choosing, you know what I mean? It just proves to me that there's more to it than just choreography styles to making a team. And I think that in these programs, you're really making sure they have those tools to do that.
Yeah, we really focus on working from the inside out. Right. Because if I'm telling you, the transformation in some of these women, it's like, I don't want to provide a name, but so one young lady that I absolutely adore and love, I met with her on a free strategy call. She didn't make a team, an NFL team, and she was depressed. She had gained weight. She was not going to audition again. I was giving her feedback on the videos that I saw in front of me. And I told her, I was like, you have to audition again. Like you need to do this. She ended up joining our program, working through like all of the motivational mindset, like setting up a winning environment, getting her morning routine down, like all of that those foundational things that you need, plus all the other things, right, of being a pro cheerleader. She auditioned again, made it to finals this time, didn't make the team, but the post that she put in our Facebook group was complete 360 of who I had just met a year prior. Wow. She was so proud of herself. She was happy for the experience. She said everything that she learned. She mentioned that she had given 110%. This year was not her year, but next year was. And she even quoted me when I always say, no does not mean never. It just means not right now. Wow. And I literally felt like I was reading a post that I had written.
Right. Just that growth in her mindset.
Yes.
A win.
Yes. And she can't wait for the next audition. Like she was, she was a little disappointed, but there were no tears. There was no depression there. It was just a complete 360. And so for me, that's success. Yeah. Okay. Cherry on top. Yeah. I want you to make a team because that's your dream. But my dream for you is to make you a better version of yourself. My dream for you is to level you up so that you walk into any environment, whether it's an interview for a job, an audition, whether it's, just a party that you're going to, or you're meeting your spouse's or your boyfriend's, mother and, father, whatever the environment is, you walk in knowing and feeling that you are the best version of yourself at that moment. That's a win for me. So like, I've done my job when ladies are women and when they're confident women leaving my program. So of course I want them to make the team. Don't get me wrong. But for me, like, that was a win for her. Seeing her and how she reacted, it was a win for her, which made me feel even better because of how she felt about that experience after not making the team.
Wow.
That is
so
not
cool.
like the best commercial I've ever heard for anything. That obviously is just, like you said, the success of it goes so far beyond the percentages and even all of the training that you're getting between makeup, like it's just such a comprehensive package. Like, I feel like everybody, it's almost like a rite of passage.
You should just go through it.
Just go through it, whether you're trying to audition for a team or not.
Right. And what's so wonderful too is that, we stand behind our program. We stand behind what we do. Our success rate is our success rate for a reason, because we put 110% into every single person. But if for some reason it doesn't work out, then we have a satisfaction guarantee. So if you stay committed to the program, you complete the program, you audition for a team, whether it's semi-pro, pro, it doesn't matter. You don't make that team, you can come back into our program absolutely free at any time in the future.
Wow.
Because yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we stand behind what we do, and ultimately we just want you to be successful. And so if that means repeating the program and kind of getting that, more reinforcement, more feedback, more support, then that's what we want. And so there have been ladies that have taken us up on that offer and have come back into the program and then made the team the very next time.
Wow. That is so cool.
See, and it's just a matter of, like you said, like, not giving up and just kind of keep pushing, and it's attainable.
You'll get your yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. You will.
We are just, I can
blown away. I don't think I'm worthy anymore. Like, oh my goodness.
Whatever.
This is just incredible. And I'm just so excited to share this with everybody so that people can learn more, about your program, and obviously, kind of dispelling some of the myths that people may think that, like you said, I didn't think that, but I know that obviously there's so many Redskins that are cheerleaders that are been through your program. But I had no idea that you had so many different teams from all over, NBA, NFL. I think it's just, I cannot wait for them to listen to this episode.
Oh, thank you. No, and I appreciate the opportunity. If I can share just one more piece of advice, and I guess it sort of has to do with Pro Cheer, but not really. But I'm a firm believer. Obviously, I provide coaching for other people, but I, walk the walk, talk the talk, all that good stuff. I have coaches as well. So one of my coaches that I work with talks about this idea of having self-integrity. And so I just want to kind of, for all of the listeners, to kind of think about this and kind of marinate on it. When we think about integrity, we think about, okay, well, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And a lot of times that's easier when I tell my friend, I tell my mom or my dad or my client that I am going to meet a deadline, or I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. We are quick to honor those commitments. We are quick to be in integrity when we are promising things to other people. Where we tend to fall short is honoring those commitments to ourselves. So I really want everyone to think about, are you in self-integrity? Do you honor your commitments to yourself? So when you say you're going to wake up in the morning and work out, are you doing it? When you hear the alarm going off and you snooze, are you being in self-integrity? Are you honoring your commitments? And the most important commitment that you can honor is the one to yourself, because when you are in self-integrity, you're reminding yourself that you are worthy, you are capable, and you are empowered to do the things that you say you're going to do for yourself, to better yourself, to make sure that you are a better person. And the more that you do that for yourself, the more that you'll start to believe in yourself and know that you are capable, you are able, and that you can accomplish anything in life. Where we get hung up is, instead of doing the things that we know we need to do, we binge out on Netflix, or we go ahead and grab that burger when we know that we should have a salad, or we drank too much one night instead of, just slowing down a little bit. And then what happens is we feel bad about ourselves the next day, and it snowballs, right? So then we start to repeat those bad habits, and we're not honoring our commitments to ourselves. And we just go further and further and further into a hole. So whenever you're thinking about not doing something that you said you're going to do, or you're thinking about not doing something that you know you need to do, just say, wait a minute, I need to be in integrity for myself because I am worth it. I am important. And then honor that. Say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go do that thing. And then you're going to feel good about yourself. And the next time you're going to do that thing and you're going to feel better about yourself. And then the next time you're going to do that thing. And before you know it, you're a different person.
Right.
Can you be my alarm clock? I just, I'm going to get up, Brittany, and do that thing. Yes.
Put your alarm clock in your closet or somewhere else where you have to get up and go turn it off. Yeah. And then immediately do like 10 push-ups. And then you won't go back to bed, because every time you snooze, you're starting a new sleep cycle, and it messes up that's why after you snooze, you feel worse. Right?
Right. Yeah. That was me this morning. I'm not even going to lie. I actually was 2 hours late to work.
2 hours, Brittany?
Well, okay. I wasn't late. I wasn't feeling good, but I totally agree with like the snowball. You're like, oh man, I messed up. I'll just mess up again. And today will be the only day. You know what I mean? But then,
next
thing but then your friend's like, come on, let's go. And you're like, okay. You know what I mean? But I totally agree. And kind of like we were talking to some kids about bullying. It just takes one person to stick up. And I feel like almost if you stick up for yourself, the other person will be like, you know what? You're right. We shouldn't be going out spending money to eat, or we shouldn't be drinking or whatever. Like, it takes one person to say, hey, we shouldn't be doing this to stop.
Right. Yeah.
I am not a speaker like you. Like,
but then at the same time, we do have to forgive ourselves, right? So we have to still love ourselves and forgive ourselves when maybe we do slip, and we are allowed, right? We are allowed that cheat meal. We are allowed, to have fun, and we are allowed to do other things that maybe aren't right in alignment with the person that we know that we should be. But what I always say is it's okay to skip once, or it's okay to kind of mess up once, but don't allow it to be 2 times in a row. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you skip your workout, that's okay. Forgive yourself. Just don't do it 2 times in a row. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So there's a balance. But I mean, with my coach just kind of putting it out there, like self-integrity, I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously, just hearing and thinking about it that way totally changed like who I was showing up as every single day for myself. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important. Like, how are you showing up for yourself? Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to really think about, because if you're showing up for yourself and you're proud of who you are being for yourself, that's going to trickle down to everyone else in your life and everything else in your life. And you're going to be able to show up as a better person for everyone else too.
Exactly. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Janine. All right.
Gosh. She did have a story. Do you want to do locker talk instead? Which you said you had a really funny story.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even get back
to that.
Oh, well, it's not like that funny.
Okay.
No, okay. It's more of like an ironic story. So what happened, I'll tell it really quick. This was my 3rd year as a Wizards dancer. Well, then we were Wizard girls. And the in-game host was out that game and couldn't be there for some reason. So I'm literally like in my uniform and they're like, hey, Janine, can you help us out this game? So literally I left the sidelines and ended up being the in-game host for one of the games.
Stop what? That is amazing.
Okay, that's
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that's kind of a locker talk, and just so in the sense, you have to say that what you studied in school, even in your career, and how you're applying it to the world of pro cheerleading, and how it's manifested in your opportunities to dance and literally do a timeout and then go into the stand. I just think you were so dope. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
We just interviewed Michelle Vaughn, and she had I think we asked her favorite quote. And she was like, I don't get ready, I stay ready. I think you are the epitome of that quote. For real.
Oh, wow. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Goodness gracious.
Thank you for everything that you're doing to help people's dreams come true. I mean, I'm sure if I go back and read testimonials, I'm probably going to cry, because I think it's just so overwhelming what you're providing for people in terms of just that go beyond pro cheerleading, things that they'll be able to rely on in life, and such important lessons, and just sharing, like you said, you get your own coaching and you're reading all these fabulous books that you're sharing with people. So it's just really a gift, and we thank you, and just thank you so much for sharing yourself with us. We can't wait to, again, just promote the program.
Yeah.
For real.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, like, I appreciate all of the compliments, but you all have to kind of look in that mirror and look at yourselves as well, because you all are educating on
I didn't even catch on at first. I'm like,
She's like, okay.
Oh, you were so sweet.
Oh my God.
Well, just because I think you all are able to talk about things that I, maybe cannot, just because of the position that I'm in, and you're able to show, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but then both sides of the story, because I think that's what's missing a lot, is really both sides of the story. Yeah. And so just as you all are complimenting me, and I appreciate it, I really do, but you all are doing the same thing for your listeners, just in a different way. So, thank you for the platform that you all have, and that you are educating people. And just remember that you all are amazing too. So
thank you. Well, thanks for being part of it. It's amazing to talk to you. Like, I saw you on the stage. I was like, wow, I'm never going to even come close to that lady. And then now you're virtually. I know, we're in your closet. So I mean.
Hopefully the sound was worth it.
Oh perfect. My gosh. You were perfect. Yeah, no, thank you so much.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you so much. We know it's late over there. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries. So funny, as we were talking, my little meditation app came up and was like, "It's time for bed." I'm like, "Shut up!"
We're getting you off track here.
Shut up, Headspace.
So funny.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thanks again, and we'll let you get to sleep and get your routine down. But yeah, we'll be talking soon
for sure.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. It was wonderful finally meeting you all. I feel like I kind of know you all just from social media, but it was definitely nice talking to you all. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Oh my gosh, anytime.
Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
GeNienne was so amazing, motivating, inspiring, just all those amazing things. Am I right?
You are right. Let's go back in time to help people understand what resources were available when we were trying to audition and make our dang on dreams come true, because that's what makes me so excited for you guys. You guys have so much more at your fingertips to invest in yourself and get the guidance that you need, the coaching that you need, and just a cheerleading section. Because Britt, when we were auditioning back in the day, and I don't want to make it seem like it was 50 million years ago, but you would go to the website of the team and it would tell you the requirements and what to bring on an audition date and what the auditions process looked like. But it was very, read the bullets. It's not it told you crop top and lycra shorts, but it didn't tell you how to pick out what would look good on you. And, it didn't say how to do your hair. It just said hair and makeup, really limited information to work with. And
we had to fake it until we made it. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, we had very limited resources. And the fact that you can do all of her programs remotely, you don't even have to be in the DC area, is so amazing.
Yeah, and I just think you're just going to get so much hands-on feedback about how to achieve that look that, let's be real, you're not really able, back in our day, we were not necessarily going to reach out to another cheerleader that was on the team to say hey, can you help me with my
They were trying to make it back.
Yeah, it was competitive. You weren't going to reach out to people to try to get the information that you needed. And who else would you have gone to but somebody who was on the team? But here you just have a lot of one-on-one feedback. You have a support system of other people who are also trying to make their dreams come true. There's a Facebook group called Prep to Pro Cheer and Dance, where you actually connect with a community of people who are also working towards the same goal. You motivate one another. You hold each other accountable. Those are the things that really excited us. And so we just wanted to say, we heard you guys in our survey results that nobody was really interested in hearing ads.
I hate ads. I didn't want to even be involved with them, to be honest.
We didn't want to go there either. It was just such a natural connection, I think, with GeNienne and understanding how she runs. I mean, she's a businesswoman, okay? From A to Z, how she runs this program and her goals to help people's dreams come true. And it just really seemed to align with what we believe is hopefully helpful about our podcast. I mean, we hear from people that say that listening to episodes, help them in the auditions process, and they've attributed it to making the team even. And so we want you guys to experience what we experience, good, bad, and ugly, of just, it is an experience of a lifetime, and helping you guys make your dreams come true by, connecting with a program such as this is just something that seems to make a lot of sense. But full disclosure, if you guys sign up through our link to join the program, then, enough people sign up, then we get a referral credit. But we really just wanted to make sure that we number one, gave you the episode, right? Because I just think GeNienne as a resource, she has plenty of free ones available, free resources
Follow
available.
her on Instagram. She has a highlight, like story highlight called Inspiration, which like if you watch that on the daily, you will be motivated to do like anything and take on anything and follow your dreams. Like she's so inspiring, and like that's why we titled it Motivation, because she's truly going to take you to the next level so that you guys can make a team, right? Mm-hmm. And their next program starts soon. It starts at the beginning of December. So definitely click those links and find out, you know, how you can start getting involved, because it behooves you to start now, because auditions are coming up. GeNienne was part of the NFL and NBA. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what team you want to be on. Starting now is way better than last minute, right? You want to make sure that you're really prepped for the NFL auditions in springtime, and if you're seeking out the NBA teams, they start in the summer. So it takes about 6 months to make any kind of changes.
Let's be real. And changes not just with your body, but just, you know, your mindset. Absolutely. And believing in yourself and building up that self-confidence that it takes to walk through not just the first day of auditions. That might be easy if you go through a little prep, but, you know, when you progress through each round, you're going to need to keep bringing your best A game and feeling like you're prepared for it, as opposed to just as opposed to just kind of like winging it. I just think, you know, you guys are worth the investment. I think anything that you want to do in life, whether it's, you know, career related, education, you're going to actually have to invest some money into yourself, so to speak. And I mean, it's the holiday season. Get your loved ones to support you. Like, you know, everybody can chip in towards like a Christmas gift for you that involves like helping you make your dreams come true. And I just think it's worth it. You're worth it. And we really just wanted to share with you that we decided to partner with the program, and we're going to have the links that, you know, yes, will give us credit, but we really just want to promote something that we believe will actually help you reach your goal. It doesn't matter where you are. I think the part about it being available to anybody remotely all over the world is freaking huge. Like I thought, I mean, naively, that they only focused on people in the DC area, but when she mentioned, you know, the international component of people making it from different countries, I mean, it's all at your fingertips.
And we know somebody who auditioned here in Seattle and made their dream team, but they participated in the program remotely. So they made the team. It works. It's proven to work.
We're definitely going to provide all the information for you guys to digest on your own time. Again, if you use the links that we'll have in our show notes, on our website as well, we'll be promoting it just to make sure you guys are mindful of that deadline in December.
But yeah, we totally wanted to promote this program because, like Mhkeeba said, we just totally believe in it and believe in GeNienne and her vision for you guys. Mm-hmm. And just thinking about like the friendships you're going to make going through this program, like auditions, and just feeling supported and seeing fellow members of the program at auditions. Like you're going to build friendships, and auditions can definitely be lonely.
Yeah, when you're showing up by yourself. I mean, when she mentioned that girl that actually traveled with another person in the program to be a support system, I mean, that's huge because it's intimidating and you can definitely feel alone. But this program, like it just creates a community of network. You have your own Facebook page to motivate one another and hold each other accountable. Like, you can't go wrong. Like, she's so dang on thorough. Like,
I know, we want to take it.
I wish we could, but I just think you guys, again, you're worth the investment. You get your own, basically, cheerleading support group, and we're excited for you. Like, we would definitely want to come and support you if you're actually going through this process, whether you do it or not. Like, we loves hearing from people what their journey is like when people maybe didn't make it and they're like, I'm going to try again for a different team next year. And so it's like, we want to hear from you. If you sign up for the program, how it's working for you. If you have questions, we can put you in contact with, you know, the answers.
Not only that, but like, seriously, we are getting some kickback cash from you guys using our links, but we're totally going to invest that back into the podcast, right? So like, if you guys do the program and make your dream team, like, we're going to use that money to come see you. We want to see you on the field, on the court, cheer you on. Like, we were able to do that for Danielle.
Yeah.
She provided us tickets, and like, that's so amazing and so cool. And like, just know that you have us as support too.
Exactly. And we're totally down. Like, I just think it's so cool for anybody who's able to attribute any part, small part, whatever it might be, of success in this crazy world of auditions to make the team. Like, if you guys are listening and any of our zany episodes over the past year have helped you along in your journey, we are your definitely your cheerleaders. We support all of you guys, and I just think with something like this that we know will help you, we're there for you.
Yep.
We're down.
We're down.
Wherever it is. Let it be domestic. We're not ready for international travel yet. Yeah. I mean, I'd be down for that too. But again, because this is our season finale, we just want to leave you guys with the most motivational episode that we can think of to get you set. And this is like the off season, guys, you know.
Yeah. New
Football.
year, new you. Come on,
Exactly.
you guys.
Give it your all. And just, you know, we'll be posting about it. We'll give you information. We'll remind you about the deadline for the application. And just, you know, follow Sideline Prep on Instagram and YouTube. We'll have those links below. And again, we'll share the links to sign up for the program through the Pro Cheerleading Podcast. And we just wish you guys the best of luck in making your dreams come true. Keep us posted. Let us know how it's going. We're here for you. GeNienne is clearly here for you in your corner. And we wish you the best in your journey.
Thanks again for an amazing year with us. Like, we just appreciate you guys and
so much.
Can't wait to see where we end up.
Oh, where? No, I'm just kidding. Of course we can't wait to see. It'll be good. We might come up with, you know,
some exciting new ideas.
You never know what's up our little sleeves, but we definitely will be active on social media so that you guys stay engaged and don't forget about us, okay?
Until next time, we'll see you on the sidelines.
Yes. Cheers to you guys.
Bye.
Bye.